Hello everyone, this is my review of Akala's Thieves Banquet, which was released this month. My background on Akala is I've been following him from around 3 to 4 years now, and my mate told me about him, and I've really enjoyed sort of going through his back catalogue and watching this man progress as an individual, moving from the sort of pop inflected "it's not a rumour" to his personality now and artistic merits now, which he's moved to become a more conceptual and hyper conscious MC in his last two records, Doublethink and Freedom Lasso. Where I found him particularly refreshing is that in those last two albums his lyrics have often been very thought-provoking. His delivery itself is rapid and diverse, and also recently, and especially in this new album Thieves Banquet, he uses a lot of historical data to push forward his rhymes. The main content of Akala's lyrics in a Thieves Banquet is addressing the history of blacks, Akala's own existential troubles and tensions within his own mind, and a selection of other tracks that are meant to promote political participation. In particular, the songs Magamizi and Malcolm Said It. I think the history of black slavery is nicely rendered in song form on Magamizi. It's quite hard to pronounce that. Giving me personally a good history lesson. I mean, before that track I was unaware that Islam had in parts colonised certain parts of Northern Africa before the Europeans had been there, and also I was unaware of the far-reaching consequences of the Haitian Revolution. This is just one of the great things about listening to an MC like this, is that if you are generally ignorant of, say, black history like I am, Akala really challenges you and throws names at you and throws historical facts. And really, in the song Magamizi, he really, alludes to the suffering that's happened in the past, and that we shouldn't forget that if we, don't want history to repeat itself. And throughout the album, he sort of throws in names like Sankara, the Burkina Faso leader, who's been called the African Che Guevara, I saw, Dessalines, the leader of the Haitian Revolution, and also Garvey, who was a civil rights theorist in America. And these are all names I'd never really heard of, and I look into them and they're fascinating individuals who I really should look up more. Yeah, on the tracks themselves as well, I never feel like Akala's patronising me or talking down to me like a disapproving parent or teacher. I always feel like he's on my level, and he's level-headed. Beyond Magamizi and Malcolm Said It, which are probably the most sort of politically active and historical on the album, much of the rest of it sort of deals with Akala's own issues in dealing with the problems of being human, and how Akala's constantly intention to achieve some sort of balance, be that through self-deprecation, like on the track Let It All Happen, when he raps that, yeah, I try to spread a message, but really ambition is being driven through my lyrics, I'm really a gimmick. And also on Our Way the Way, where he raps, if I really had peace of mind, I probably wouldn't speak that much and probably would not write these rhymes. Or on the track Another Reason, where Akala sort of muses on the difficulty of establishing meaning and boundaries in a postmodern world that seems determined to be fluid and unaccountable. Akala raps, the man with no mind, the one that will never choose, skin with no feeling, is the one that will never bruise. On the track Pissed Off. The most personal track, and probably one of my favourites, is Old Soul, which is where Akala really exposes some of his most direct influences. it coordinates through. It shows Akala's romantic side and his nostalgia for this golden age of commercial music in the 1950s and 60s. And I also really enjoyed the soul and funk-inspired beat that really complements Akala's verses on that track. In regard to what I find are the limitations of A Thieves Banquet and maybe Akala in general, I think that the beats overall are the issue in A Thieves Banquet. Throughout his career, Akala's touched on rock, pop, electro, classical, and of course traditional hip-hop beat making. But when I listen to Akala, be that in A Thieves Banquet or Freedom Lazoo or any of his previous albums, I don't think he's really taken any of the eclectic genres he's used in any interesting directions. I think of him more as sort of a jack of all trades and master of none. And in this album, I think it's the same. It's varied. It's got rock. It's got some nice acoustic. Akala obviously utilised the live band in creating this album. But not at one point am I excited about the beats. They're not abrasive, or they're not particularly heart-wrenching. They're not at all groundbreaking, but they are pleasant. And I think that the simplicity of the beats on A Thieves Banquet often foregrounds is often a background, essentially, and what the main focus is Akala's capable MCing skills and his thought-provoking subject matter. The two tracks in particular I didn't enjoy were the title track, A Thieves Banquet, and obviously the extra one, the second, Thieves Banquet, the extra track on the album, and Lose Myself, which is sort of billed as the single version for the album with Josh Osho, I think he's called. But I felt underwhelmed by the beat on Thieves Banquet, and I felt that he was going over obvious subject matter, albeit in a very creative way, altering his voice, which he's always thinking about how he can engage the listener. But I thought on Lose Myself, I think I just felt Akala was a bit more uncomfortable in the more emotionally charged role. So what do I think overall about A Thieves Banquet? Overall, I really enjoyed it. I think Akala is sort of a sole individual in pushing new boundaries in intelligent hip-hop music. His use of history I find particularly interesting, and I find that he finds a great middle point between giving me intelligent opinions but also not letting that get in the way of constructing artful rhymes. Despite Thieves Banquet being a rather cool sort of intellectual experience, it is one that nevertheless I think is worthy of your time. Yeah, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you for listening. Please rate, comment, subscribe. I've got loads more videos coming now.